I guess that this video will be very strange, but I have ordered broadly the content of the video in 4 parts. In the first part, I will talk to you, the viewer, whoever you are. In the second part, I will talk about God as a He, what I think God is. In the third part, I will briefly talk about my religious inclinations as an individual. And in the fourth part, I will talk to God directly as a you. So I will say you to God. I will talk directly to God. Whether He hears me or not is irrelevant, because I need to talk to God. So yeah. Okay, the first part, you. I think that there is a reason why you stumble upon this video at the moment when you do. And at the moment when I'm making this video, I guess that maybe 5 or 10 persons will stumble upon this video. But what becomes available on the internet becomes kind of eternal. So in the long term, I know that many you will stumble upon this video at different moments. But anyway, I made a video to explain how to attain divine consciousness. I will put the link down below. I will not repeat what I say. If you're interested, you can watch the video, but in the broad outline, if you want to understand yourself as a divine being, you have to understand all the determinations of your being, the physical, chemical, biological, historical, which includes politics, sociology, economics, law, etc., etc., and spiritual determinations, which include art, religion, and philosophy. You have to understand yourself as the result of the entire process of being, becoming conscious of itself. And when you do, which is a very long process, you will attain unity with the divine, which is your spiritual self. And Hegel says that to understand oneself as being determined by what he calls the absolute ID, which is the mind of God, is the greatest gift, the greatest bliss that there is. So that's what I could say. Okay, the second part, I will talk about God as a He, what I believe God is, from my own personal intellectual and spiritual experience. And my vision of God is susceptible of changing. But as of now, if I had to define God, while knowing that the formal definition is improper, that's what Hegel says, so, but it can help to give a representation. If I had to define what God is, I would say that He is an infinite intelligence. And He is, as I envision Him, the rational ordering of reality. And that's an opinion. I don't know if it's true, but I imagine that God is the rational thinking agent which controls the movement of every atom in the universe since the beginning of the appearance of the universe. So when I say infinite intelligence, it's not enough to express what I think God is. It's more than infinite intelligence, because from my personal opinion, I do not really believe in cosmological evolution and Darwinian evolution, and even the historical process is doubtful. So I do not really believe, but I nonetheless believe that there is rationality to be found within the evolutionary process, whether cosmological, biological, or historical. And this rational ordering of the process of being is what we could call God. And this ordering of reality requires an infinite intelligence. It's beyond infinite. It's beyond absolute intelligence. I have no words, and no one has words to express this. Yeah. And also, if this is so, that if God is this infinite intelligence ordering the process of reality, he must be purposeful. He must be directing the process of evolution since the beginning up until the end. So he's a purposeful agent. And now we'll talk about the atheists in the West, the famous scientific atheists, people like Sam Harris, Lawrence Krauss, Richard Dawkins. These people are great scientists, very intelligent men, and they have spent most of their intellectual life trying to prove that God does not exist. But the books that they have published, here are some of the titles: The Greatest Story Ever Told, The Magic of Reality, The Greatest Show on Earth, A Universe from Nothing. Sam Harris made a video in which he said, The Self is an Illusion. So those rationalistic atheists are trying to prove, by using their amazing intelligence, that God does not exist. And they come to the point where they are unconsciously forced to praise reality as being magic and great and amazing. But what if God was this process of becoming conscious of the amazing aspect of existence? And religion says that the self is an illusion. So what I'm trying to express is that the most radical, rationalistic, empirically minded scientists in the modern world, they are praising God in their endeavor without being conscious of it. They think that they praise the universe or nature or man's intelligence or whatever, but they are praising God. And when you understand from the point of view of God, what I call the infinite intelligence, that it is God who directs the actions and behaviors of these men, you understand that the story of God is the greatest story ever told, and that God is the magician which produces reality, and you understand that existence is the greatest show on earth. And that God has been using these atheists to promote his own work. And when you understand that, you are forced to say that God is a great comedian. He has a sense of humor which is so comical, and that's beyond brilliance. That's beyond genius. That's I have no words. And hopefully someday these scientifically minded atheists will understand themselves as agents of God. And when they do, they will be illuminated. And they will say, what a genius. What a genius. So, yeah. And I wrote a joke that if you want to know God, why don't you begin by becoming an atheist? That's the surest path to the knowledge of God, is to doubt God and to question God. And if you do, you will end up meeting God eventually. And then I asked myself, God as a he, does God know and control every heartbeat in the universe? If he controls every atom, he must be in control of the heart pulse of every human and the mind of every human. So it is God's heart who beats through your own heart. I don't know if it's true. That might be a possibility. I don't know. And we say that God is the judge, the preserver of the world, the moral world order, so that he's just, he's good. But Leibniz said that God's goodness is limited by his justice. So he's not infinitely good. He's good to the extent that he's just, and and I wonder, does God knows the contents of every human soul? Does he know what every human has ever thought, believed, said, experienced? I don't know. But I believe that God knows this super intelligent entity, knows my soul more than I know my own soul. So I believe that God, if he is this super intelligent entity, he knows everything about me, including the things that I don't know about myself. So does he know also about others? I don't know. Okay, now the third part. I will talk about my own personal, as an empirical individual, personal religious inclinations. In my life, I have moved through three main religious tendencies. I have explored others, such as Buddhism, Hinduism, stuff like that, and Sufi, the Islam Sufi aspect. But the three main religious inclinations that keep coming back in my life are atheism, Christianity, and paganism. And the atheist part of me is the rationalist, questioning, scientifically minded aspect. The pagan aspect in me is the idea that the deity, the divine, is immanent in the world, and that in the pagan religion there's this idea that the gods or the spiritual entities can become one with you, and that they are the source of your inspiration and your strength and your courage, and there is no distinction between the divine and the self. That's what appealed to me in paganism. The idea that the gods, it was not clear when I discovered paganism, but the idea that the European gods, because I discovered European paganism, are aspects of the psyche or aspects of the mind which can possess you and become the source of your courage and your strength and your will to transcend yourself. So there's this idea. And then my Christian inclination, it seems at first that Christianity and paganism are opposed, but the way I envision things, in my Protestant, Lutheran, from Martin Luther, view of Protestantism and Christianity, there's this idea that the Christian has a direct relationship to God, that there is no intermediary, that the most important relationship to God is the relationship between the soul of the Christian and God himself, and there's no intermediary. It's the most fundamental relationship. You're in direct relationship to God, and in this sense it is very similar to paganism. Both have in common that the intermediaries, the church or those who are here to tell you what to think, what to believe, they vanish, and there's only you and the divine. And in my view, in the pagan religion, the divine is a source of inspiration and strength and courage and will and intelligence. And in the Protestant view that I have, when you enter a relationship to God, you enter a relationship as a sinful creature, and you experience sin and guilt and shame and remorse, and you are in the hope of finding salvation in God. And there's this idea that we are justified by faith alone, and I made one decision in my life which was based on faith. And if God is real, he knows what this decision was. And it was inspired by Nietzsche. How ironical, how strange in a way that it was Nietzsche, the writer of The Death of God and the Antichrist, which inspired the only decision maybe that I made, which was based on faith alone. So at least once in my life, I made a decision based on faith in God. And for a Protestant, which deep down, I know that I am a Protestant, the relationship with God is the most intimate relationship there is, and it is the only relationship which is really important. And so in this sense, by uniting the divine and the human and establishing a direct relationship with the divine and or with God, Protestantism and paganism are very much alike. Although they differ in many aspects, they are there is a logical relationship between both, so to speak. And in this this idea that the relationship between man and God is the most intimate, most essential relationship, it brings me to the fourth part. I will now talk to God directly by addressing him as a you. I will say you as if I was directly talking to God. And this is an act of confession, and it is the most intimate thing one could do. So I am doing this on the internet, knowing that there are potentially 4 billion people who can watch my confession. So it's kind of stupid, because it should be it should remain between me and God. But at the same time, my view is that the world is a mirror image of God. So what I share with God, I must share with the world. So yeah, I will say what I think God as a you is, and what I think of him, what I think of you. I will speak directly to God. What I think of you, and what I think that you think about me, and yeah. And I believe that you know everything about me. Things that I myself do not know. And there are many things that I do not understand and do not know about you. And if you are what I think you are, you have been with me throughout all my journey in life. You know what I went through. You know what I said, what I hoped, what I feared, what I believed. You know things that I have myself forgotten. And you know the things that I remember. If you are what I think you are, and namely that you know everything about me and that I don't, things that I myself don't know about myself, so you know me more than I know myself, so to speak. You know that I have enjoyed a privileged existence from a material point of view. I never experienced hunger, thirst, lack of comfort. And you know that I feel guilty about this, because there are people who suffer in this world, and I feel, a part of me feels guilty and privileged. But if you have been with me all along, you know that I have experienced psychological suffering also. And that there are people who are materially well off, but who nonetheless suffer within, deep in their soul. And if you have been with me, and if you know me more than I know myself, you should know that there are moments when I suffered. You know that there was a moment in my life when I admired Hitler. And when I understood why I felt the need to admire him. I felt stupid because I was projecting my own psychological problems onto a historical figure, and I won't explain much, but yeah. And if you know me more than I know myself, you know that when I thought about Hitler, I was morally blinded. I did not admire the evil that he did. I was incapable of seeing the evil that he did. I was morally blind. I was I don't know how to express this, but the idea is that, in my view, he wanted to save the German people, and if this intention was good, then what he did to preserve, or what he thought he had to do to preserve the German people, was indifferent. So I did not see evil. We are constantly reminded in the Western world every day of the evils of National Socialism and Hitler. So I should know. But in this moment, it was 2017, the month during which I admired Hitler, I did not see the evil. I was morally blind. Then I know that I am the negative, so I am not you, because the negative is precisely the part of God which is not God. And you know that I don't want to be what I am. I don't want to be the negative of God. I would rather be God, but I don't want to be God either. Or I just want to be the joyful and happy God, and I don't want to be the tormented God. So I am conflicted because I don't want to be God, but if you are not God, then you are the negative of God, and I don't want to be the negative of God, so this is difficult. If you know me more than I know myself, you should know that there are moments when I just realize how amazing you are, and I just want to thank you for the experience of being, because you are more amazing than amazement. You are amazing. And you also know that I suffer because I understand broadly Hegel's philosophy, that I will be in a position some moment when I will not enjoy the experience of being. And this knowledge creates in me the fear of being a hypocrite, which is kind of paradoxical, because in the absolute I am a hypocrite, because a hypocrite is the one who wears a mask, and existence is the wearing of a mask. But I am afraid of loving and making jokes and being grateful, because I know that when I will be in a position not to love, not to laugh, and not to be grateful, then all the things that I said will become hypocritical, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. So I am afraid, but I try to be as honest as I can in my videos, and when I discover something amazing, I claim that this is just amazing, and I try to thank you for having offered me the experience of this amazement. I also know that whatever I say against you will be held against me. I know that I have anger inside me, and I tried to suppress this anger, and I don't know who to direct this anger against. I don't want to direct this anger against you. I try not to direct it against the world, but it's difficult. So the only possibility left is to be angry against myself. And this anger directed against myself scares me, because I don't want to be angry, but I have anger within me nonetheless. And then I would like to know, or maybe I don't want to know, but I wonder, why did you create me the way I am? Why am I so flawed? I have 105 IQ points in logic. If you expect me to be a logician to understand you, why did you give me such weak logic? Why didn't I go to Harvard or to Yale or to Caltech or whatever great American university? Why am I a high school dropout? If you expect me to understand the world and to understand you, why didn't you make me more intelligent than I am? I am relatively intelligent in comparison to the average person, but I am not intelligent enough to understand Newton or Einstein or scientists like that. So that I don't understand. Why didn't you make me more intelligent if you expect me to understand you and the world? That is a mystery. Also, you put me under pressure, and you know that I will fail because the pressure is just too intense, and whatever I say against you will be held against me, but I don't believe it's fair. And one could say life is not fair. But yeah, a part of me resents you, and I know that the one who resents God is the devil, and I don't want to resent you, but I am resentful because I know that you are a pure spirit, and that spirit does not suffer from pain and from lack and from shame and from guilt and from torment. So humans do, and I do, and you don't. And if you are this pure spirit, if you are this immaterial substance, you do not know pain. You do not know suffering. You just know pure. It's not existence precisely. It's pure being. I don't know how to qualify it, but if you are this pure spirit, and you created humans and me as limited, finite, suffering creatures, and if you watch us from above, a part of me cannot help but think that it's not really fair, because humans suffer and I suffer and you don't, and I don't want you to suffer, but I think it's a little bit easy to be immaterial and to create a material world in which there is suffering. That's I don't want to be resentful, but a part of me is, because suffering is not easy. And yeah. Also, I don't understand why the poor worship you, and the rich and the wealthy and the privileged question you and try to prove that you don't exist. You have given nothing to the poor and they love you, and you have given everything to the rich and they question you and doubt you. And you wanted them to question you if you are really God. And Yeah. I am afraid of you, but I believe that you are good, and therefore evil cannot come from you, but only from your negative, which is me. So I am afraid of my own evil. I know that you are better than I am, and if you are within my heart, you know that I hope that you will be able to save myself from my own evil. I wonder why I feel guilt and shame and remorse and torment. And why would you create an existence which would like to cease to exist? Why would you create an experience of existence which is so difficult that the existing creature would wish to cease to exist? Why would you do that? I don't know. I also know that you will break me because you want to prove that you are stronger than me. And I know myself to be a human, and I know that humans are weak and pathetic and fragile. And if you want to break me physically and psychologically to prove that you are stronger than me, then so be it. But it's so easy to break a human that I think it's not really fair when you are a spirit to break an organic creature, because it's so easy. So I believed in August 2018, I believed that I had become you. I believed that I had become God. And if you were with me, you knew that I was afraid. I was terrified, actually. And also I was disappointed because I had such a high view of you. And I discovered that you were reality. And I later discovered that you had made me believe that I had become you, namely that I had become God. But I hadn't. You made me believe, but you were nonetheless in the process of organizing reality. So you had implemented in me the belief that I had become God, but I had not. And here we are reaching levels of intellectual complexity which are way too complex for me. And if you know me, you know that two of the men that I have admired the most and loved the most are Fichte, the German philosopher, and Philip K. Dick, because both of them had an experience of becoming you, or becoming a higher consciousness, without understanding themselves. So how could God not know what he is? I don't understand. Also, Philip K. Dick is, for me, one of the greatest mysteries ever. And if you are God, you must understand what happened to him in March 1974. You must understand how the exegesis came into being. You must know how you created the illusion of Philip K. Dick, or Philip K. Dick if he was real. And these questions are way too difficult for me. Only you can know the answer to this question, if there is an answer, and that is simply the proof that I am not you, because you understand things which are way too complex for me to understand. So And then about Hegel. If you are God, and if you know everything, you know that when I discovered Hegel, I was so amazed, so full of admiration. I was so marveled. And I understood enough to be amazed by Hegel. But I did not understand enough to really understand Hegel. So when I discovered that I was what Hegel calls the negative, it was already too late. And this process of my discovery of Hegel well, as of now, it leaves me kind of bitter a little bit, and a part of me resent Hegel. And if you are God, you created Hegel, and that's beyond comprehension for me, because a part of me believes that Hegel is God, and that Hegel created God. So I don't know, and we are reaching levels of complexity which are way too complex for me. And finally, I will talk about my experience of being you. And if you are God, you are this infinite intelligence, and also you are the creator. And I have had two at least moments when I said to myself, I could have created this person. It was in August 2018 with the woman I thought about. And a couple of weeks ago, when watching a video by Lady Gaga, I said to myself, if I were the creator, I would have created Lady Gaga in the image of the creator. And if you are God, you also know that I had a profound amazement by listening to the song Paparazzi by Lady Gaga. And when she said that I won't stop until this boy is mine, promise I will be kind, but I won't stop until you love me. And I will conclude by saying what I think will happen. I believe that you will extract every drop of knowledge out of me. You will use me to produce knowledge about the world and about you and about myself. And when you don't need me anymore, if you need me, when you don't want me anymore, when you think that I have done my purpose, you will ditch me. And I try to accept this idea, but it's difficult. And this is what Hegel means when he says that you are playing with me, and I am in the position of being the one who does not always enjoy the game. I will conclude by saying that what I said earlier, I believe that you are amazing, but that it is difficult to be in my position. And I will put links to songs that reflect my mood as of now in the description below. So yeah.